Okay, we're going to finish up the Nutcracker. I'm so sorry that it cut off. I was having some technical difficulties with my camera, and I just finished doing a drawing where the other video left off. So I wanted to just explain or give you some other ideas. So as you can see, I've already done the garland where I traced a bowl, and I did the garland going around my Nutcracker in a metallic Sharpie marker. But you can also use a metallic pencil if you don't have a Sharpie available. And what I've started to do is you can either leave it empty, like you see on this side, or you can choose colors that you'd like. It can be any colors. It could be blue, red, orange, yellow. And then if you wanted, you could simply just color inside the leaves that you've left empty to add some more color to your project. Now, you just want to make sure that you don't cover up any of the gold that you see in the garland that's going around my Nutcracker. So after I finish coloring this in, I'm going to be using watercolor markers to paint the Nutcracker, and then I'll give you some other options that you can use to embellish if you want to on your Nutcracker. So now that I've finished the garland, make sure you cap your marker tight, or whatever, if you're using color pencil. So I have these other examples of a Nutcracker that I really, really love. I love the fur or hair that you see on the sides instead of painting it or coloring it in with a Sharpie like I did here. So that's another option that you could use. And I love the fur for the beard on the Nutcracker. And if you have, I don't really use glitter, but I do still have some glitter glue, which I think is probably safer to use in that it doesn't get all over your fingers and into your eyes. As you can see, this area is colored in with glitter, and then this metallic gold, which is really pretty. This is all made out of paper, which I think is just stunning. We're doing obviously a simpler version of this Nutcracker. And then I have another example to show you of the Nutcracker where you can make it really colorful. You could even add pink cheeks after you've painted the face, and you can leave the hair white but add a tiny bit of gray to show some of the texture in the hair. And as you can see, this is very colorful crown, and you can add any colors that you would like to your Nutcracker. So, and then if you had some I'm trying to think of, some gold specks, you could add them for the buttons, sequins. That's what I was trying to think of. Anyway, okay, so there's some other ideas, hopefully that will help spirit some fun imagination with your project. So I'm going to use a tiny brush, and I've got a nice palette that I have. I think it's best if you can get the watercolors that have a nice assortment. It's a lot of fun. I believe I got this one at Target for $9, $9.99. So it will last me quite a while. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the, sorry, my cat always seems to know when I'm teaching my class. He always pops up to say hello. His name is Mookie. Make sure before you do paint that you've erased any pencil lines, and I traced this with, yeah, Mookie, you wanna paint too? Huh? I've traced this with a Sharpie because if you use a regular marker, it will bleed if it gets wet. So have a nice little rag on hand and make sure that you clean your brush thoroughly. No, Mookie, here. Clean your brush thoroughly after each time you use your brush. So I'm going to use some other colors, and I'm going to paint. He likes to get into my cat likes to get into my watercolor water for some weird reason. They all have very interesting personalities, that's for sure. Now, if there's a color that you're using and you want to apply that color to another part of your Nutcracker, do that. So I think I'm just going to paint this beautiful kind of burnt orange for my uniform. Now, if you did have the glitter glue, it would be optimal to use that inside, perhaps like buttons. The problem with using any kind of glitter is that one tends to want to put it everywhere, and that's not the idea. The idea is just to use it sparingly and in some areas that will make it look festive and fun. And as you can see, I'm holding my brush rather close to the end so that I can really control where my paint is going. And I'm not really wetting this. I have more paint on my brush than I have water. So you just need a small amount of water. Come on, Mook. Go on, go lie down. Go on. And you could paint your background if you wanted to. That would take a bit longer. And if you're up for it, definitely. But the one thing I would recommend is that you wait for any paint. Goodness. You wait for any paint to dry before you do that. Okay, so if you are doing your background, I'm sorry, he just is very insistent, and if I lock him in another room, he will not stop crying. So he's a very artistic creature, I guess. He loves to be around me when I am doing my artwork, and he likes to play with the water. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this off. Mookie, come on, go back, 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 back. Okay. So finish the arm. Now, this would make a terrific card or a gift if you wanted to get a little frame for it. They have some great frames at Target that I've seen, or also at the Blick art store, but I've seen a lot of great art supplies at Target that are pretty reasonable for anyone's budget. Okay, so if you want the area to be darker, simply add a slightly darker paint application, and then it will be a little bit darker. So less water is my recommendation if you want it to be pretty bright and more solid. Okay, now I'm gonna finish off the crowns. So like I said, you could use any color combination that you'd like. You may want to test the color on a small piece of paper first to see if you like it, but before you paint, because that's more of a final situation. Now this paint has more water on it. As you can see how light it is, how more translucent it is when I am painting. So it's not super dark. And you don't want to get it super wet. If you do happen to get it a little too wet, just dab your brush on your rag, and that will absorb the moisture and help reduce the water on your painting. Okay. Now, for the last part of it, you can choose any color, skin color that you'd like. You could go for, you know, like a peach color. You could go for more of a darker olive color, or even the nice browns. Have some beautiful brown skin tones. So I think on this one, I'll just add the brown. Ah, that was wet. Look what happened. So I'm just gonna paint right over it. Now, if it's too dark of a brown, just kind of add a little bit more water so it lightens up, and you can then still see the facial features. So I'm just adding a little more water to it so it will lighten up and not cover up the eyes or the mustache or nose, and just kind of keep it inside your lines. And then just kind of move it around so that it fills up the face. And you can still, I recommend using a color pencil when it dries to add any cheeks. I did this actually with a marker after I painted it and let it dry. Or I think I did, I'm sorry, back that up. I used a little bit of paint on that, but you can use a marker, or I suggest using a color pencil to add the cheeks if that's what you prefer on your Nutcracker. And then the final part is to add some color to the rest of the costume, his uniform. And I'm going to use the same color for this detail on the chest. Okay. All right, and there you have your Nutcracker. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what we're going to be doing for the next project. And I'm going to ask you to collect some thin cardboard and some egg carton, and I'll explain after you've collected a cardboard egg carton is better to use for this polar bear that I've made. And if you don't have like raffia, which I had some extra in my studio, you can use yarn to create a scarf. So you're gonna need some cardboard, and this happened to be from some packaging that I had, and then egg carton. You're going to need tempera paint, yarn if you don't have some raffia, and some regular color markers. And I also used some metallic paint to make a frame. So that will be for the next project. So start gathering your materials, and let me show you a couple of other well, I'll show you next time, actually, some other ideas that I've used with the egg cartons to make some other fun creatures. Okay, so thanks so much, and I'm sorry about the glitch, but I hope this helps, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.